Welcome. This is this week's question and answer session. And the question this week actually comes from another group. It is, how do you deal with people who are against everything good you do? Any suggestions? So let me tackle this on a couple different fronts. First of all, your mindset. That's what we're talking about. So what would your mindset be in having to deal with difficult people? One of the reasons, again, that we talk about at Success Institutes, love being the foundation, is when you begin with that foundation, you're going to start by thinking the best of the other person. And you begin to try to see the other person by walking in their shoes and all those old parables. So that gives you a whole different framework and begin to deal with the situation. But then you're ultimately going to come to a couple different questions. First is why are you in this relationship? What is this relationship you're having with this person? Is it collegial or family in which you really have to kind of deal with them? Or was this a relationship that was really by choice? If it's the latter, there's 4 power questions you begin to ask yourself as you try to look at how you want to handle this. Those power questions are, what would happen if I do something, whatever it is you would have to decide on how you want to handle the situation. What would happen if I don't do that thing? What won't happen if I don't do that thing? And what won't happen if I do that thing? Now, what might those things be? Ultimately, you're going to come to the idea as whether you need to try to solve this by ignoring it, addressing it directly, or just ending the relationship. Those are the 3 general categories that would fall into what you can do in dealing with that person. Now, if it is somebody you have to deal with, family, colleague, what have you, you're probably going to need to have a conversation with that person. Those conversations will be hard. Many of us tend to avoid conflict, so we just kind of, deal with them as minimally as possible. Not necessarily wrong with that unless that is eating away at you, right? So every time you got to deal with that person, the fear or the anxiety or stress builds up that you got to go deal with this person because they're always stabbing you in the back or manipulating things behind the scenes or whatever it is. So let me deal with this first part of this, was just having that difficult conversation and whether you need to do that. One, you need to take care of your own emotions. So this is where that training of your mindset again comes in. How do you deal with stress and anxiety? What sort of practices do you have set up to gain control of those emotions? The other piece to this is, are you really clear on those circumstances that have created all this tension? In other words, we all make deletions, distortions, or generalizations about events. Have you, in your own mind, really clarified to make sure that you aren't doing too much mind reading, made whatever generalizations? You need to bring back some of these deletions you may have made, reframe some possible generalizations. You need to do some self-analysis on these circumstances so you can get better clarity on what the issues are and the problems are and what's been going on. Anything that you may have distorted, you've got to bring back into reality so it will be easier to have that communication, that hard conversation. That would be the first thing. And then secondly, again, it's dealing with those emotions and having all those things set in place for you to gain control of those emotions. And that's where that mindset training comes in. The communication skills, the emotional management skills, the attitude, your own attitudes, the things that you can control. Those 4 power questions always apply on either end of the scenario. They are, the framework for that is a positive, 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 negative, negative, positive, negative, negative. In other words, what will happen if I do something? What will happen if I don't do something? What won't happen if I do something? And what won't happen if I don't do something? Those are those 4 power questions that are really, really useful in a lot of situations like this. So, again, summarize. The mindset training, where that comes into play, is your attitude towards the other person, right? The beliefs and values that you would have. If you begin with a foundation of love, you're going to do your best to see that person in a different light than if you don't have that foundation. And also your own emotional management skills, right? And being able to self-reflect, get an idea of what's going on inside yourself, what you may have done on your own level to distort things and make generalizations, get that clarity, that self-reflection, and then manage your fear, anxiety, stress, what have you, and dealing with those people. So that's kind of it in a summary. I hope you guys all go out and have a great day today, and keep checking in with posts and all. Thanks.